Welcome to episode 142 of the Corey Shepherd podcast. Listen, plenty thing happened this week, and plenty thing happened last week. But you know you're living in a country that's sweet when you have a short week and a next short week, back to back. And when the biggest story in the country, regardless of what's going on in the crime, everybody frightened to come here because of crime, all kind of thing going wrong with local government election. Man talking in secret in secret public in Tobago about election propaganda. And the biggest story in the country for the week is who thief who wrote his skin. You know where's Gobar? Holy weekend, boy, the biggest story for the week in the country is who thief who wrote it. It's the greatest thing. You're living in the greatest country on earth. Don't mind the little issues we having and thing. It's a no way better than here. Nowhere better than this country we in here now. So, Holy weekend last week. We had a short week last week. And next short week coming up this week. The short week last week was a holiday on a Tuesday. Half holiday and work the Monday. Get a long weekend. This week is Corpus Christi on the Thursday. Half holiday and go and work the Friday. So that's our next long weekend. Salute to the people in the States and all of that long weekend this weekend gone. Oh, it was Memorial Day or something like that. Or they had a little Monday off, or they had some time off. So everybody's supposed to be refreshed and rejuvenated. And I still here keep asking myself, should I be putting out episodes on a short week? When is a short week? I watch my numbers all the time, you know. When is a short week, it doesn't take me on, you know. So if everybody taking long, extra long weekend, I taking an extra long weekend. And my intention to do so was proven last week by the fact that after completing the episode, right? Let me tell you, this for all the YouTube people, I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They call it a Freudian slip, right? What does Freud say? It come out, you didn't intend to say it, but it was somewhere in your subconscious mind. So somewhere in my subconscious mind, I didn't want to do an episode last week because I was a short week. And what happened was, I was so glad to finish recording. I just press stop recording on the mixing board, and then when it's time to stop the camera, like I never stop the recording. I just pull out the memory stick. So when time for me to edit the video now, I find like I ain't seeing no kind of video on the cardboard. All I seen is audio. So sorry about that. My mistake. That will happen too often. It shouldn't happen again. I have a little change in my process. And so funny last week that I was talking about salute to Marsha Messiah and the team at BCLF, Marsha, Melanie, and Melissa at BCLF, as well as Dr. Linda Ulrich. And they have a whole crew. Linda Ulrich, Lizelle, Brittany, too much names to remember from the Conspiracy of Goodness podcast. Make sure you check out them two podcasts. But funny, I was talking last week about expanding my horizons to editing more and producing more podcasts, and the very episode I'm talking about that and putting myself out there as a producer, I foobar my own YouTube video. I only get a little black screen. You know what I mean? What's a little black screen? And it's the most unforgiving to the people in the man about Black Lives Matter or Black Screen Matter and all these things. People brutal in this place and all. They don't forgive a little mistake. But I should be good now. And last week was not the best example of my ability to produce a podcast. So I telling myself, Corey, don't go and put this up on YouTube. Don't go and put this up on YouTube when you're going to put yourself out there to be managing. People think they're going to strike fear in people's hearts. You're going to put big questions to your own reliability and so on. But I could not leave my YouTube listeners or viewers in the dark, so to speak. No pun intended, right? I couldn't leave all y'all because I know some people typically have issues with the other podcast apps downloading it and so on. Or outside of the people who just want to see, right? There's some people who listen fully on YouTube. I get that and I understand that. So that's why I decided to go ahead and put up the thing with the black screen and hope for the best. And I just want to let you know too that for the people who use YouTube to listen, I will be looking into YouTube podcasting platform and see if I could sort that out so that you can listen and close off the app. I don't know how I always do that because it's be frustrating for me when I listen to podcasts on YouTube. When every time I close off YouTube, I can't hear nothing else. I can't go on Mac or what else happening on my profile and thing by the time. So I prefer like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and those things to listen. So I'll explore YouTube podcasts, see how that works, and see if when I put it up there, if that allows for a better listening experience. But I also want to let you know too that you could download Spotify for free. And with Spotify, you will hear the podcast. There's no ads or anything. It's just like YouTube. Or for those who might be getting ads in the States. You can listen to it on Spotify. It's not going to have any ads or any stops or anything like that. And I don't think my video should have ads anyway. But also, you could close off the app and mark what other people doing in the meantime, you know what I mean? And get a better listening experience. So we work on that. We're always working on improving, right? This is my little comeback at the beginning, you know, for anybody who was listening as a measure of my ability to produce the podcast. We bounce back fast. Resilience. And we're consistent. We're here every week regardless of what is happening. So just to fill all in on what our roti story was, right? For those who might not know, Indian arrival day was last week. So of course we get some curry in our belly, but it can't go without a little controversy, a little kakalang and lacqueray and so on. It must have couture. So apparently somebody by the name of Chef Jason Peru, who seems to have a reputation for being a little aggressive online and talking to people loose. I never understand these things very well, and I never understand these things well. I so worried about my reputation and the things that I say. I generally worry about that, right? I don't like to say harmful things to people and hurtful things. And I'm also aware that I have a very dark sense of humor and laugh at things that I'm not supposed to laugh at. So I try to be a little measured in the things that I say. Sometimes I do a whole segment here and I delete it because I don't like how I come across. I don't want to be offensive to anybody or anything like that. And I think about that not just for my personal reputation or my life or anything like that, but also because of the fact that from a business standpoint, I feel like I represent our team, I represent our staff, I represent our clients. So I try my best not to put myself out there in too bad a light. I'm not saying, right? But I try my best not to put myself out there in too bad a light. And that's just me. That's the way I try to live. So it's always baffled my mind when people who have businesses and public profiles like Jason Peru, I'll tell you who he is, right? This is from his page, Chef Jason Peru. Well, the first page is the impregnation of flavor. Chef Jason Peru's new cookbook entitled The Impregnation of Flavor. Jason, I am buying that. I am buying it. Salute. Anybody who writes a book, salute to you. But I don't like it. I don't like the title. Impregnation of flavor is Chef Jason's contribution to the Caribbean and the rest of the world as his culinary statement through 19 years of carefully constructed and crafted recipes that showcase and chronicle his best recipes and well-guarded culinary secrets. So between 2021 and 2022, he launched this book. I guess he's a chef. He coming out of Brooklyn and those things. The cost of the book is $200 at the store. Not sure what store this is. Oh, you could pick it up at the Candice Mohan Salon, 25B Sunset Avenue, Bayshore, Westmore. Oh, you up there? You the big boys in Bayshore. All right, cool. So for international orders, I get any whole advertisement out here. For international orders, you could pay $66 US, a fee of $31 shipping to deliver to US or Canada or any Caribbean islands. You could pay $32 or $36 shipping in the rest of the world, right? You sign a signed copy, signed by Chef Jason himself. And he will get it to you in about 3 days via DHL, no matter where in the world you are. Salute that. So that's who Chef Jason is. But Chef Jason, as any other person in Indian arrival, they who selling little curry and so on, promoting his roti skins. I will tell you that the picture that he put up, it really looked very light and silky. It make you feel like you want to go and get a roti. I want to know his people's best or favorite roti shop too, because since I come Shogunas, Sham's roti shop is one of the greatest thing I ever taste, right? In terms of the whole experience, the roti skin, the curry itself, the curry goat is the best I've ever had, and it generally Moorish. It's our place named Juman's in St. Augustine too. Very, very bad roti makers, you know what I mean? Bad. But as a hot shop man, you know what I mean? I don't care what they say, as a hot shop man. People just want to say hot shop and think it's tourist roti. I find hot shop just right. It's neat. It don't fall and sloppy all over the place. So I don't eat wrap roti from nowhere else but hot shop. If I go somewhere, it's bus up shop I'm looking for. And Jason Peru, he's a man, make sure he have a silky looking, I find when you present bus up shop, it must be in a styrofoam container and it must have some jersey kind of material it rests down on. It must rest down in comfort. And the man take off all the boxes. What is called the thing where he's hit it with? The billner? What the hell is called that? I don't know what it's called it. But he have that rest down by the picture look good. It look enticing. And he using that for his ad for ordering roti from him and so on. I ain't so sure. I mean, if all you bad talking hot shop roti. I ain't want to know if all you ordering roti from Bayshore. I just want to understand. But he put himself out there. And then somebody by the name of Nandsdrotigirltt say that is her picture. And she then posts her thing from April 2021 when she posts the same picture. So she say, why are you using my roti for your own benefit, for your advertisement? You don't get credit, you do nothing. And it seems as though the back and forth start. But Jason Peru is a man like he's get aggressive with people online because he rough up the woman. He posts where he took that from a video that he did since in 2020. But the reality is that, boy, let me tell you something. The internet is the greatest place. By the time people started digging, it looked like both of them tiffed the photo. I guess the videographer who Jason hired for his video back then might have used some kind of stock photography or something. But the people saying, I don't know what is the true story in the end. But people saying they both gone with the photo, so everybody vexed. But the more important part of the story is the aggressive tone that Jason take with the people. The many comments. I'm watching comments, photos here or posts here with hundreds of comments. And a lot of them coming out and saying, Jason, you're rude and you're out of time and you don't like nobody. And this is how you're talked to. And you're too old to be getting on, so ignorant and all this. It seems as though people know he have this reputation. I don't understand it. I don't understand the feeling that you need to fight people in the comments when people say bad things about you. I think once you're running a business or you're open to the public, you're going to get people who are going to say, or let me not say people who are going to say bad things, like if somebody make up something. If you're cooking food, somebody going to have a bad experience. True or not true? If you're producing podcasts, every now and again you pop a black screen. You just have to take your small talk, take your buff up and thing and roll with the punches. I think as well from a customer service standpoint, right? One of the things that we, from a business, as a business that we have consulted with people on customer experience and those types of things for a long time. One of the things we always tell clients is that a bad experience with a customer is an opportunity, because most people who have a bad experience with you come and you buy my roti, the roti skin heavy like lead, you know what I mean? People who have them kind of bad experiences usually just don't buy from you again with certain types of products, right? Like food and them kind of thing. Most of the people who don't like your food, going to leave the place and never come back. And they go tell people, boy, nah, not me. If they ask, they will say, no, that food terrible. There. Like bakery treats, my favorite people to talk about. It ain't good at all. Coincidentally, the owners of bakery treats is also some people who like to get aggressive. I mean, they cool down these days. They pat down. I thought that they were closed down. Salute to Rasta Danny who points out to me that, listen, bakery treats like they're still open. And I notice it these days. It's only looking like it closed down. It's looking like death. But apparently they're still open. But she is one who like to get aggressive with people in the comments. You know what I mean? But a bad experience is actually an opportunity. No, not just a bad experience, but a bad experience that the customer come and tell you about. If somebody tell you, boy, listen, your roti skin on them heavy like lead, you know, I feel like I was chewing gum. I find like, you know what I mean? My son could have erased his copybook page with that apparatus you make that could be hard to hear, especially if you're positioning to put yourself out there and say, boy, listen, you're the silkiest and the smoothest. But number one is feedback. So you now know to put some whatever it is, put to lighten up thing, right? Or hit it harder, it's too tough, right? But you could also tell that customer, listen, I'm willing to change your recipe, make it different. I want to be better. I want you to be involved in the process with me. So when I want to send them some samples for you for free, or you and your family could come and eat. I will give you some samples, or you could tell me which one is the best one. And if that person agrees to that, you might have a customer for life. And we used to talk, we spent a long time in business learning about customer experience and understanding profitability of customers and so on. But in today's world, it's important to measure what we call the customer lifetime value. What is the value of a customer, not just on the transaction that they come to spend a little money by you today, but more, what is the value of their transactions over their lifetime? All you know is a Maria's baby, right? I like to talk about Maria's. And salute to my guy Nick Dean, who would have done my financial analysis and show me over a period of time how much money I was spending by Maria's all the time. Every time you sit down by Maria's is $80, right? It's done nothing less than $80 at the way I does it. So when you look at me going there 3-4 times a week for months on end, you calculate it and see where you come up with as a number for how much you'll spend there. If of the $80, them fellas making $10 in profit. The way to calculate customer lifetime value is to see what is either the revenue, the $80, or the profit, the $10. You could take that over a period of time. And let me say that the lifetime of a customer in a cafe is about 15 years, because that is your working life when you're on the go and you're hustling and thing, right? They could take that 15 years, multiply how much I likely to spend over the entire time that I will be there for the 15 years. So my lifetime is not my lifetime till I'm dead, right? It's my lifetime as their customer. They take that and then they bring that down to present terms. The finance people go explain that to you, right? So find the present value of all the money that they spend over the 15 years and work out what that is in today's money. When I work out what that is, it's in today's money. It's customer lifetime value. And I minus from that, what is the acquisition cost of the customer? Acquisition cost is just how much it costs you to market the customer. How much does it cost for you to get each customer in the door? Most businesses will work this out, right? So if I take the present value of all the future incomes that you have over a lifetime, minus from that the total cost of acquiring you, then I have what is your lifetime value. I could then decide, okay, is my customer acquisition cost too low? Is it too high? Should I be spending more? What kind of loyalty programs I could do? So you could do a lot to make sure that your highest value customers have a high level of loyalty to you. The best brands in the world do this extremely well, right? So let me give you an example, a bad example, right? It was an outlier, but let me use this as an example regardless. You see the idea that Saks Fifth Avenue, Louis Vuitton, Bergdorf's, where these high-end stores, the fact that they will shut down a mall or shut down a store for Kim Kardashian to come through and shop speaks to customer lifetime value. They are less interested in the individual, or see, they did the other day gone with Young Miami and shut down some stores and went and shop and them kind of things. You know what I mean? When men do things like this, or when companies do things like this, they are not just considering what is the current value of that transaction that the person coming. Yes, they will spend a lot of money and you'll make some good money on the transaction. But what they're more concerned about is the lifetime value of a customer like Diddy. Because I might be a man who have money to go and spend it that day, but I can't go in that day because they will measure this acquisition cost for somebody like Diddy would be high, but the value that he would bring to them over time would be long. Add to that not just the value of the things he will buy over time, but add to that the level of influence that he has. When she posts two of them shopping and walking out of there, and he posts it, and everybody, then it becomes a demonstration effect that other people want to go in there and see. You ever watch Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts? That was my favorite movie. I watch it when I'm done here. In Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts, when she go on in, the people studying transaction value, because you're watching a woman who looking like she broken or working. And you don't want to sell her the thing because you assume that she can't afford it. And then when she come back, you know the high value man. money spending. So I always wonder about these things where somebody may have a legitimate concern about something your business do, and you decide to attack them and think it. I understand you have to defend your name, but I'm not sure that leaves the right impression to your would-be customer. I would think that it is pushing up your customer acquisition cost, because now, if that's how you move, I don't want to go there. I'll give another example, right? I talked about it here before. Did I? I might have posted about this on Facebook. I never talked about it, but let me talk about it. One of my favorite little spots as I moved to Central was a place called Pesh Patisserie, right? I used to go there all the time. The owner is extremely nice. I can't remember his name. Is it Chef Mohammed? I can't remember his name. But extremely nice. I used to go there with Stacy and Zachary and stuff, and I remember particular things that he used to do to go beyond the experience. There was a lady there, a waitress, a Jamaican lady, very, very nice, extremely pleasant with us, and always engaging with Zachary and stuff, which that will always be impressive to me. And there was one time Zachary asked something about snails. Oh no, he asked if he could have seen the kitchen, and the chef, the owner himself, came and took him and carried him back in the kitchen, and apparently Zachary sees snails, and he asked him, well, what is that? And he tell him snails, and he brought us, he said he gave him one for him to try. One time they used to make a hot chocolate there, which I didn't realize was made out of chocolate. Then they used to take like hard chocolate and melt it down to make hot chocolate for him. It wasn't even on the menu. And I told Zachary, if he liked it so much, go and ask him what kind of chocolate it is so we could buy it, right? I know we couldn't buy it. And he told us, yeah, they make chocolate there, and that's what they use and to make the hot chocolate from their dessert menu prep, or whatever it is. And he didn't just say that, he also gave him a container with some that he could take home and make for himself. So he's an impressive guy. You could see he's a genuinely nice person. That is not somebody who trying customer service tactics, and that usually feels the best, right? When somebody genuinely taking care of you. But boy, that man used to go hard on Facebook comments, but I guess it's when you're so passionate about your business and about your brand and so on, that he used to be responding to some people in the comments kind of wild. Kind of wild. It's like, what? I mean, I'm not connecting these two things, right? But today, Pesh no longer serves people as a walk-in restaurant, but they have a bakery that does well. I buy their bread all the time in Massey. The bread is all over, available plenty places. And they also do the little panettone and hot cross buns I think I talked about here before. So it's just a pointer, right? I just opened with this because it was the biggest story. But I thought that it was so... It's so hard to see like a business owner and a person with a public profile, because he's Jason Peru here again, is the face of the business, and attacking and going after this person. And I mean, he did come out and apologize. In fairness to him, let me see if I could find this apology, because I'm not seeing the value in coming out and doing something like this. And maybe is I wrong about that? Just because the value could well be in the amount of traction that he gets, and or like me so talking about him because he was the biggest story. He was the biggest story on the internet. And now people who didn't know him before must know him now. But I don't know if I believe that statement that all publicity is good publicity. So let me read the apology to be fair to him, right? So everyone, I must say something. Yes, this whole matter with Roti spiraled out of control. I understand that the woman was hurt by my comments, because one of the comments was, you studying my Roti, study your husband by an ex-woman. I don't like I ain't like the idea, you know, the business is responding like this, but I like a little pettiness every now and again, right? When I wrote this, I understand that the woman was hurt by my comments, and yes, I was angry when I wrote this, as I deal with so many fake profiles daily who demean all the positivity and hard work I put on my productions. This is one of the things that people now again is saying, if it's they go one extreme and say they was hacked, The next thing they say is all these other fake profiles. I mean, they're real people too. But anyway, many may not know what I endure on a daily basis in my DMs with hate messages, sometimes in person, even through phone calls. Wow, who's hating Jason Peru? What angered me is that she brazenly accused me publicly of taking her pictures when she was wrong and it was indeed mine. I understand that she might have made a mistake and thought it was her picture upon seeing her post. Upon seeing her post, I wrote her a hurtful comment, and this would have obviously affected her feelings, which I think you wanted to do. I want to apologize to her for that, and I was in the wrong. I like a man who could come out and apologize like this. I guess we both would have learned lessons here about false accusations, and in my case, letting my temper get the best of me. I shouldn't have done that. So, Miss Nandini, I apologize for my words to you. May you be blessed, and wishing you success upon you and your business. One of the nice things about this internet era too is that maybe I'm wrong about it. Forget everything I know say, cuss people, go viral, apologize, then do a joint thing. Because what would be nice now is if Jason come together with Nandini and they do a roti thing and a roti tutorial, that will go viral too. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the best way to go. Forget everything I know say. Let me get into the people news and forget this kind of roti thing, right? Salute to them. I hope all they enjoy the curry and all the roti last week. I think nobody has sent none for me, but it's all good. It's all good. What about Farley, boy? What about Farley? Where's the situation with Farley? Anybody hear from Farley? I see more and more now activists calling for him to go. I saw Wendell Eversley saying that maybe it's time for him to hang up his guns. We like to call for people to resign. But I would say that I would have liked to hear him I would like to hear him explain, like come out and say something about it. I find like he ain't saying nothing at all. It's just that just happened. And it's nothing. If you didn't tune in last week or the black screen bother you too much, Farley was recorded basically telling somebody that we will hire people, put people on THA payroll, and their purpose or their return on investment, their favor back to me for giving them the favor of this job is that they will push propaganda and push agendas on social media, whether it's fake profiles or let upset Jason Peru again. Whether it's fake profiles or real profiles, we just need you to do it. The respondent, who apparently is in the THA or accused of being somebody in the THA as well, allegedly somebody in THA, is saying that here what's going on. They go do it anyway, they don't do that already. But they want to make sure they have a lucrative monthly income coming in. So allegedly there's Farley and a partner in the THA who doing this. And I'm not understanding how come more people not calling. I mean, the resignation thing hard, right? Calling for people to resign, I give up on that in this country. And I feel if everybody resigned for everything that they do, we go run out of people to run for election and them things. Maybe that's what we should be doing. But I'm not sure if every slip up or every hint of corruption or even every corrupt act calls for somebody to resign and give up their job. I think it does call for some kind of hearing, at least, not corrupt act, but corrupt accusation. So if we could hear people out or force people to come out and say, well, okay, that was me, that was not me, what I meant was this, then we could make a judgment as to whether they should stay or go or improve or be punished and a fine or whatever the thing might be. But it seems to be not, maybe it's me alone bothered by this issue. The Prime Minister's response is from the Newsday from Paula Lindo. It says the Prime Minister has said he will not become involved in the operations of THA unless there's a breach of a law. Speaking at the breakfast with the PM event at the Trinidad Hilton Conference Center on Wednesday, Dr. Rowley responded to a question from PNM Tobago Council General Secretary Akisi London on shenanigans in Tobago and comments about a government of Tobago. Akisi? Oh, no long Akisi in the PNM. Akisi in the PNM long, London? You asked the Prime Minister that at the I hope that was pre-staged though. I hope that was pre-staged. I don't think that was the wisest thing to ask him that if this was his response, right? Anyway, addressing the issue of an audio clip in which two THA officials allegedly discussed using public funds to hire people to promote propaganda on social media, Rowley said he is always cognizant that he could be under surveillance. Rollers, I don't think surveillance is the issue, is it? Technology has changed our world, and if some people did not realize that, they'll get surprised. Rollers, I don't think you realize that. What are you talking about? I don't say anything in the company of anybody without assuming they have a tape in their pocket and are taping what I'm saying. Listen, right? The issue I have here is the issue that one of the top positions in the country, and certainly the top position in Tobago, the holder of that position is being accused of hiring people on the state funds by paying them through the THA. And a part of hiring you is, I have a JD here for you that say, all right, you must do things, you have an exchequer, you have to thing, you have to sign pay slip, you have to upload ACH, you have to have a list of things. But on the side, right, as an informal side, what your real job description is you have to go and bad talk the PNM, you have to say Duke Wicked, you have to say Farley is the greatest man you ever seen in your life, you have to say Farley wife license ain't expire at all, it never expire. You have to say these things. Added to that, if that is the reason I put you there for propaganda, it means that if you didn't upload the ACH, you didn't do all these things on your formal JD, but you do the informal things good, you well say she have a license to burn, you could keep your job despite the fact that you're not doing a good job in the THA, or you might be fubar and you work in the THA, putting a black screen and so on. But you're doing your propaganda work well. I think this is a matter for serious concern if there's any truth to the allegation. And I would love to hear the man who being accused of it say something about it, or the woman who being accused of it say something about it, deny it, say that is not what you... I would love to hear their response. Apparently the Prime Minister is not worried about this. The Prime Minister more worried about the fact that somebody record Farley. Listen to the Prime Minister response. What is this? Are we boy thing? Is a we boy situation? Because anyway, listen to the Prime Minister response. Rowley said he's always cognizant that he could be under surveillance. He's not talking about the propaganda thing, you know. He's talking about, I always know somebody could be recording me, you know. He went on to be quoted as saying technology has changed our world, and if some people didn't realize that, they'll get surprised. I don't say anything in the company of anybody without assuming they have a tape in their pocket and they're taping what I'm saying. Now going forward, right? It's as if there are people in Tobago, 14 seats or 24 seats, and they want to go and plan to use taxpayers' money to run their party or whatever they want. That's all your business. Oh, Lord. That's all your business. In other words, all they elect them, take all they get. All they didn't want the PNM. So this is... I have a rough time with politicians about this. And I mean, they show us in so many ways that they're not really concerned about the country and things. You know, they're concerned about the country only, or it does not take precedence over their own ability to run the country. So if he was running Tobago, this would be a major concern for him. But the fact that all your thing and that who all you put there, I just assume, let me deal with them two things separately, right? He's basically saying that, quoted here as saying, that's all your business. The Prime Minister will not get involved in that until it becomes a breach of the law. But let it not be said that as PM of Trinidad and Tobago, that I have let Tobago drift. That has not been happening and has not happening. If there are consequences to be paid, then they will be paid. If in Tobago there are officers who are prepared to break the law, they will face the law. Boy, listen. He's saying in one breath that he's not letting Tobago drift, but in the same breath, almost in the same sentence, he basically said, if it are people in Tobago and all they put them there, and they're using taxpayers' money to run their party, that is all your business. Going back to the idea of the technology, right? He basically, to me, right, this is my interpretation of this. He basically saying, anything I talk, I just make sure nobody record me. He not saying, I will not say anything like this. I will not do anything like this. I do not hire people to run no propaganda. I do only use state funds for state purposes and for the betterment or the greater good of the people and the country. He's saying, I don't talk when people are wrong. I just assume they're taping me. And the fact that you say they have a tape in their pocket, that means you also touch your technology too. You heard talk about tape in your pocket. Where if you listen? In the Watergate. We're talking about tape in your pocket. It's 2023. You assume they have a tape in their pocket. You understand the visual he have in his mind of this situation. It's crazy to me. But just hear the undertone of what being said, right? More importantly than the Prime Minister's response. I mean, the Prime Minister's response is of concern to me. But I want to call again for Farley to say something from the Express here. This from Rhea Tate. I like Rhea Tate take on this as a journalist here. The headline says, Farley, you need to man up. I like it. Because I want to hear if he just not going and address this. And let me get credit to Rollers too, because at least Rollers say something. I haven't seen, I'm not the best Googler, but I haven't seen much from Watson Duke. I haven't seen much from the UNC. I mean, the UNC's talk about everything. They are so busy. They're man busy every day, man, doing doubles and coffee. It's incessant. But I haven't seen, I mean, I'm not the best Googler. Please feel free to send me, when you see I say anything, right? And the information right out there. Well, you send me, WhatsApp me, send it in the YouTube comments, wherever. Send me direct me, straighten my steps for me, right? But I haven't seen anything from the opposition on this. I haven't seen anything from Watson Duke, who's his arch nemesis, the enemy. You know what I mean? I'm not seeing anything from him. I know what about Kizel? Kizel and him, I like Farley and them. I told them fall out and all these things, but I'm not seeing or hearing anything from people who typically very, very vocal on a lot of issues. I don't know why. But Rhea Tate says, President of Tobago Business Chamber Martin George is calling on leaders of the Tobago House of Assembly to man up and clear the air on the voice note, in which two people alleged to be THA officials are heard discussing the use of assembly funds to pay for partisan political activities. Quoted as saying, we think that it is now incumbent upon the leaders of the THA to come out and clear the air and indicate what, if any, position they have in relation to these matters, as they do not appear to be going away or dying quickly and have taken a life of its own, he said yesterday. He said, notwithstanding the hallowed words of former Prime Minister Basdeo Panday, who said politics has a morality of its own, Tobagonians expect and in fact maybe are demanding that the current leadership of the THA show that as far as Tobago politics goes, it must be held to a higher moral and ethical standard, and one that can withstand scrutiny and searching and searing investigation insofar as honesty, transparency, and forthrightness. He said, I think that unless this is addressed one way or the other, there is going to be a continuing lingering question mark over the relevance, validity, transparency, and honesty of persons who may or may not in one way or another be implicated or associated with his voice note. I like what Martin George had to say. I like it. Because and there's the issue. The politician that Farley was under the PDP of course at the time, but also in separating from the PDP, has, as most politicians do, positioned themselves as forthright. A lot of the words that Martin George used here might have been in the campaign thing, Transparency, forthrightness, all them kind of things, all those things might have been in PDP manifesto. And Farley, what new party name again? It might have been in the manifesto or these things. Even in the way you separate from PDP and then you create a open source party by making anybody come in and be members. And he had a sort of different approach to how he was forming his party. Everybody could have contributed to the name and the symbol and those things. So you position yourself as that. I mean, not me to have too much of faith in politicians and the manifesto and the campaign. And I mean, Farley, you bad up the AG on day one saying you can't tell me what to do over here and all this kind of thing. You come out here, you barely say anything about your wife and the license issue, except to say that tomorrow in Trinidad, them police over here, all the police and go home and police that crime down there. So, I mean, they don't look good. I would love to hear from people as to what is happening on the ground in Tobago, if Tobagonians are calling on them to account and calling on them to speak about this. And I salute to Martin George who come out and talk about this, but I want to hear, maybe I over here and I ain't hearing enough about it. I ain't listening to radio. Tambran is the one in Tobago. I ain't listening to it enough to know what is people's response to this. Salute my boy Marlon. Hopefully Mills will call me. Mills is my Tobago correspondent. So Mills, if you listen, I want to hear what you had to say about this situation. Always know what's happening on the ground in Tobago. In some other serious news, and to give people some credit too, I mean, I don't ever want to be the guy who just bashing everybody when I come here, right? So I want to give credit where credit is due, because I saw an article at the beginning of this month as well, saying, hey, wait now, I realize it's June already, January, February, March, April, May, June. Half the year nearly done. Anyway, Car parts worth millions of dollars found in New Grand crime nest. Car parts worth millions were found in the bushes off North Trace, New Grand on Wednesday. The criminal enterprise was discovered by officers working under the supervision of Southern Division Senior Superintendent Richard Smith. The break in the case came with the arrest of 2 men from the area earlier this week. They were found with 4 stolen vehicles. The vehicles and parts came from thefts across the island. And police estimate that they have more than 100 engines, batteries, doors, bonnets, trunks, and shells, and the shells at least of 7 vehicles. Some of the electrical parts were already in waterproof packaging ready for sale to buyers. How much you all think they have an export market for these things? Remember when you were talking about the scrap iron people the other day? We were saying that the scrap iron market is really an export market. It's a US, it's a forex issue, right? People taking scrap iron and shipping it abroad and getting paid in US dollars, right? It's a gray market or black market, if you want to call it that. You trade in steel abroad. We also saw some people doing oil bunkering and selling people, or was it gas? Diesel rackets out on the seas again, a little gray or black market to sell it. I'm wondering if the car theft thing is the same, Me don't know how true it is, but a lot of people used to say in the beginning of the bamboo, as we know it today, certain people don't like when you say that, certain people don't like when you say that. Certain people is only say is certain people is being crime and the black and chicken and everything, and they'll go in them areas and deal with them, and the government don't want to. Certain people don't really acknowledge the fact or the accusation, not the fact, but the accusation that the industry that they love and hold so dearly and participating on a daily basis and defend, and has been the genesis of their wealth. Wealth that, in credit to them, they used to give back a lot and so on, right? But a lot of it, the accusation has been that car thieving ring is what started up the bamboo and these things, right? This is not new. I'm making up this. I remember Frankie Woodrum. This is not made up things. People have been talking about this and accusations made and car thieving ring busted and things just like this. So salute to the police involved in this. Salute to Richard Smith and your team for coming up with this and stopping what might be bamboo number 4 down in New Grant. You know what I mean? I don't know if that is where they were headed. But it makes me wonder, when they say they're done packaged up and them kind of things, I wonder how much the export market is. Asking this because one of the first things is asking immigration, particularly in Barbados and Grenada, is if you're coming with car parts. I'm not sure if that's still the case or if that's a big thing still, but it's clear that at least up the islands, Trinidadians have a little bit of a reputation for carrying little car parts and little stolen items and things up the road. You know what I mean? So a salute to them for finding something like this. Because I think I talked about that here already. We had 2 vehicles stolen. I talked about one recently with my B12, but my first car that gone with that the morning. It was sad. And I also had one stolen on Fatima Grounds. I went to play football, and I tell you when I rental, right? But I think like I said, the man think a thiefy car up to today. I don't think he's be too happy with me when he see me now, but I mean, this is what it is. But when I come out from playing football, a car done in the spot where I was parked already, there's not that thieving car thing is not a nice thing. And the idea, the issue with crime in the country now is that they have they just have a general looseness and lawlessness. Where I leave my car there, you could just go with that. My house has something that you see as being of value, you could just kick in my door, submit all you, and come in and take whatever all you have to take and then ride out. And there seems to be little recourse where those things are concerned. And then when you look at the people who are supposed to be protecting us, coming out of that article this week, if you wasn't aware, the head of the defense force or the people in the defense force come out this week and say, them fellas and them thief a Galil rifle. A Galil gun. So if you don't know, please Google a Galil rifle, right? Don't just Google it. If it's possible, go on YouTube and look for Galil assault rifle Hickok. It's a fellow named Hickok. Hickok. I think it's spelled like that. It's an old white man who's telling you a lot about guns, right? I just want you to go and watch. Hickok gives a good background of the gun, right? The fact that the weapon was born out of Israeli combat and so on, and it's really a parallel to what as the AK-47. But watch his story or his history on it to get to learn some more about it. And maybe it might help you understand why we have that for the military. But also wait till he reach the point where he shoots it. He's a man like gunners, so you know them Yankees and them like to shoot on these things. So he shoots targets with it. I just want you to listen to how it sounds when the gun is shot and watch the target. He shoot regular things, like a sea drink bottle, you have a gelita rest down there, he shoot a watermelon and he shoot some targets. Just go and watch what happens to the little clay pots and the sweet drink and thing that he shoots in from that, please. And then you'll understand the seriousness of this issue. But from the Express by Alexander Bruzal. Alexander, Bruzal? Close. Police are still searching for a Galil assault rifle that was reported missing on Sunday from the Support and Services Battalion in Chaguaramas. Up to late last night, the missing weapon had not been located, contrary to various reports on social media to the contrary. Social media had come out and said they find the weapon and they find the people and all these kind of things, right? Social media also say Alexander dead this week, so I know. Social media have a morality of its own too. Speaking yesterday at the 27th sitting of the House of Representatives, leader of government business Camille Robinson-Regis said a thorough investigation had already been launched and included personnel from the TTPS and the Defense Force. At the time, she was responding to questions posed by Oropuch is right? What am I talking wrong? Oropuch East MP Rudal Munilal on behalf of the Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines, who was not present at the sit-in. She said, Madam Speaker, an immediate investigation had been launched, which involves collaboration with police and defense force. The investigative and intelligence machinery has been carefully activated in this regard, and this special team is headed by Senior Superintendent Henry of the Western Division. Why didn't go and get Richard down in South? Let them sort of like finding thing. But anyway, a reward of up to 75,000 has been ordered for information on the retrieval of the firearm and arrest of the individuals involved. So, these stories do very little to inspire confidence because we still, I think, as a people, right? We have a lot of confidence in. Should I say confidence or should I say hope? We think that, and maybe there's just me, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we as a society believe that the powers that be and the forces that be are the ones who have to save us from this crime wave and this crime scourge, right? So while we may not have confidence, let me take that back. We look into them for answers. We look into the politicians for answers and the police commissioner. We don't want Ula say how you rate my thing. Ula say excellent. You know what I mean? Ula basing it on how good the Tea Party and them going. Where the employee used to work by we once, right? The nicest person you will ever meet in your life, right? But he's a man. When you call him to ask him, man doing a sales project, right? And when you call him on the day the sales thing going on, he say, hey, how things going, how everything going? He say, boy, real good, this is excellent. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We had sent people, they had a cruise ship that came in and we had a little sales project to go and sell people stuff from on the cruise ship, right? And he said, boy, great. It's an excellent turnout. People very, you know what I mean? It's great. We're having a great day up here. You say, well, here now, when we hear that, we say, what money in the bank? When you're having a great day out there. He's a sales supervisor. He have a team of people selling on the ground. This is about, he there from 6 in the morning. We call him about half day. We say, how thing going, boy? The man say, great. We say, well, how much sales you make? He say, well, we make no sales yet, but people having a good time. I say, what the hell is that? What he mean when he say great is everybody eat, everybody looking nice, nobody can get bounced down, nothing happened to nobody. Great, excellent, you know what I mean? He find it going good. This time I trying to figure out how much of them things you sell. When he say excellent, I tell myself, well, we make a real sales. So the same thing with Erla Christopher. When she say excellent, she mean, well, I go to work every day. They, you know what I mean? No sort of traffic. They carry me straight in the office. The tea party was nice. People find her dress up nice. I think she engaged in that by no sort of metrics, you know. She no KPIs and them kind of thing, you know. She just saying, I feeling good. Excellent. This sports day is great. You know what I mean? So she having a good time. But the hope that the people who in power will turn it around, or the people who have authority, or the forces, in this case, the defense force or the police force, this is a service now, right? And these things happening is worrying. Like that, I would think that in a country that already have a gun problem, particularly a high-powered weapon problem, particularly in our country where 2-3 weeks ago, everybody in CARICOM come to say these very kind of gun like Galil banned when they was banned all the time. You could take one, you just hops up one from down in Tetron and you bust out like what going on? Where's the checks and balances? If you on social media and you on especially the viral type pages like News Before the News and MYOB and all these places, right? If you on them pages long enough, you would hear from places in Laventille, in St. Paul Street, or all the different areas and hear the type of high-powered weapons that man is be shooting. Sounding just like how it sound when I listen to Hickok doing these things in a safe environment with gun controls in a place where them thing legal to buy. He talk about the fact that he had a Galil back in the day and he ended up selling it. I find news like this to be disturbing and worrying where them things concerned, and I'm hoping that the justice is swift. They have a $75,000 reward. But I just want to say that before I move on from this, right? If the payoff from crime is good enough to have people wearing solid gold chains that hanging from the neck but it's touching the Air Force Ones, I'm not sure if $75,000 is enough to turn anybody's head. But anyway, we digress. Let me come to talk what I like to talk about, right? I like to talk about these kind of stories. And the Express again. This is from the 1st of June. Headline reads, American nurse reports stolen $12,000, right? More crime. It's just crime ridden. An American citizen has reported that after a fight with her Trinidad boyfriend, $12,000 was taken from their hotel room. The 54-year-old nurse who lives in Colorado reported that she came to Trinidad 2 months ago and was staying with her boyfriend, who is from Dow Village, California. She said that on Monday she checked into a room at the Airport Suites Hotel in Tunopuno. She said she left the $12,000 in a knapsack on a chair. Big up you. Big up you. The woman said she returned to the hotel at 3 a.m. Where you went? What part you went? 3 a.m. on Wednesday morning to be told that the boyfriend had visited the room. Then she checked the room. The boyfriend was not there. Also not there was the knapsack with the money. Northern Division officers are investigating. Northern Division officers, I don't want all your contact them people down in New Grant who find all them car parts. Let it be. Let it be. We have enough crime in this country. This is not an issue, non-issue. Let's just move. This is reparations. What the man name? I don't know his name though. I wish they'd put his name here. I want to salute. This is my new favorite person. He is my hero. I want to know if it's 12,000 US too. You know, listen, oh God. It can't be 12,000 TT, right? She couldn't come here and change all her money to put 12,000 to the 12,000 TT. It had to be 12,000. Let be 12,000 US now. Let improve the economy of Dow Village, California. Straight out of Colorado. You can't go wrong. Just last week I was talking about this, and when we talk about Marcos and them, it's a good idea. So you know what I mean? That's the kind of business we're looking for. She was here for 2 weeks. That is $1,000 a day. If you look at that, you're here for 12 that grand a day. A grand a day ain't bad. A grand a day ain't bad at all. Woman doing man this for years. It's not today woman doing man this. A woman tell me outright that time, right? I went through all kinds of things in life. A woman tell me outright that time. She say, you don't find it rude to ask a woman when you're on a woman dealing to ask a woman for change? She said, you don't find it rude to ask a woman for change. She damn right. I find she very right. You know what I mean? He just also, whatever you give she money to do, don't look for nothing to come back. Don't look for nothing to come back. I know we say last week, you change. Get back a cent. You get back a cent. When you go to the strip club in the States, you're paying $100. I hear so, I mean, you know, we don't go to this place, but you're paying $100. So you take $100 US and you're looking for some ones, right? And when you're looking for your ones, you're expecting to get 100 ones because, the ones is to throw back in the strip club anyway, to throw on strippers from what I've been told. So when you go in there and you go on by the counter, it have a counter that them just dealing with ones. Because that is the economy of the environment they're in. And sometimes when you get them $100 hard, them getting you back about 61, 71s. It's robbery. I could tell you this too. No man ain't running that counter. No man ain't running that counter. And man is going to take the $100 and buy 71s normal. Nobody don't say nothing. The ATM fee, when you go in the ATM inside them strip clubs, $20, 20 US, from what I've been told. Is a woman inside the ATM. There is robbery for you. And next woman tell me, you don't find it rude to ask a woman who you're with to pay back money? You don't expect when you lend a woman money, you will get that back. I wonder if it's the same woman tell me them two things. It's plenty robbery we take over the years now. I mean, I say, no harm, no foul, because I take him a robbery for sweat equity, for sweat equity. Me have no problem with that. But I always tell this story about my brethren in Long Circular Mall by the name of Harold. Harold is a singer. I wish I could remember Harold's last name. But you know how the gymnast go, there's only no man by one name. But Harold is a singer, older fella, and very fit, always in the gym. But he's a riot. Big, deep voice. You know he's a singer. You know he's a vocalist when you hear him talk, right? But when Harold telling his stories about women and things, one of the things that Harold is always talk about is this idea of giving woman money and lending woman money. Harold say not in that business again, no woman money, no help out, no handout, no nothing. He say he bringing things to the table and you bringing things to the table. But you have a deep voice. He used to call me Brady. He say, Brady, it's not uncommon when you're dealing with a woman for a woman to need money from you. Nothing wrong with that. He say, but if they ask you for money borrow, you say, here what? Money between friends, these things is mash up relationships. So this is Harold's strategy, right? If the woman asks you for money borrow and she want 2,000 borrow, Harold have a lowball offer in his mind based on what it is you ask to borrow. He say, I don't lend money between friends. These things is lead to contention. But here what I will do. I will give you 1,000. Harold say, cut whatever they ask for, borrow in half. He say, I will give you 1,000. He said, that is all I have, but I could give you 1,000, so you ain't have to worry about paying me back in no kind of time. You know what I mean? You don't worry about it, that 1,000 is yours. And that's how we dealing with getting rid of women. No loans, of course, no problems now when you're not getting back that money, so Harold just cutting his expenses and 50%. No, I don't know if Harold know that these days, right? It's 500 and no 1,000 and thing you're cutting in half now. The way inflation set up, the kind of money people might be asking for now, the kind of money people looking for, I don't know if you're going to be able to cut it in half. We might have to take Harold rule and apply it to 16th. It's just take 1/16 or whatever they ask for, because the way the world set up now, it might, I could tell you, it ain't going to be no 1,000. A matter of fact, a woman not asking you for 1,000 borrow. let me forget that. Let me take that out the door one time, right? They don't want no loan for no 1,000. That 1,000 is just a run, right? But in the interest of proof, I want to be able to prove that this has been happening for the longest while and accepted between man and woman. So if you leave a bag with if you leave $12,000 in a hotel room, if you have $12,000 cash today, something wrong with you in the first place. But if you leave $12,000 and you know I have access to the room and thing, I think this is a gift. I find the man damn right. And he must be, you're praying and you're asking God all the time for a little help. You have a little financial strife and these things. And you walk in a room and find $12,000. This woman come back 3 in the morning. I go leave the 12,000 for you to go and spend on somebody else. Never me. If woman smart, man had to be smart too. I want to go back to the great Lord Kitchener to hear a story about how woman teach me to do this over the years. He tell a story about a woman doing this by the name of Grenadian May. All we doing is taking pattern from all you. Yes.
A bounce up Grenadian May last week Saturday. A bounce up Grenadian May last week Saturday. Well, I try a trick on she to get she in me batchy. can't catch myself yet.
What she didn't tell me is what she forget.
Who must be think Grenadian a fool? Who must be think we not go to school? Who must be think because we come here, we starving in Grenada today. I gon' tell you Trinidadian, among you can't fool we Grenadian. Back up ground, money a hand if you fancy this Grenadian. She start getting hot and start to proper like a parrot. You Trinidad men, you like women but don't like to spend. Well, I'm going to make it clear, I don't get into who I am. So I hope you know, I got no time if you got no dough. Who must be think Grenadian a fool? Who must be think we not go to school? Who must be think because we come here, we starving in Grenada today. You damn lie, I gon' tell you Trinidadian, the days for the gun with Grenadian. Back a ground, money a hand if you fancy this Grenadian. Well, I start to plead to see what effect it gon' take on she. I said, darling, this is true, I am madly in love with you. She put she hand akimbo and watch me from head to toe. Man, you talking crap, I can't take love in the Chinese shop. Uno must be think Grenadian a fool. Uno must be think we not go to school. Uno must be think because we come here, we starving in Grenada today. You damn lie, I gon' tell you Trinidadian, among you can't fool we Grenadian. Back up wrong, money a hand if you fancy this Grenadian. So I promise she, I gon' give she half of my salary. It ain't long to wait, I get paid on the 28th. She said by the time the grass growing, you don't know the horse starving. It's in a good day, give me a ring when you get your pay. Uno must be think Grenadian a fool. Uno must be think we not go to school. Uno must be think because we come here, we starving in Grenada today. You damn lie, I gon' tell you Trinidadian, among you can't fool we Grenadian. Back up wrong, what your hand if you fancy this Grenadian.
If we're talking about crime, let me continue on the crime. We done in the crime already, right? Vibes Cartel. You only know Vibes? You only remember Cartel? Oh. Listen, I see something this week I ain't like at all. Where they say Cartel is reportedly battling Graves' disease, heart condition. Right? I'm reading from Jamaica Observer. It has emerged online that Vibes Cartel, the incarcerated dancehall star, is suffering from an autoimmune disorder known as Graves' disease, which, coupled with two alleged heart conditions, makes his present situation life-threatening. Broadcaster Lisa Evers of Fox 5 New York said she had obtained a sworn medical affidavit from Vibes Cartel's private doctor, endocrinologist Karen Phillips, which outlined that the dancehall star has been battling Graves' disease for 7 years, for 7 years, and that despite being treated, it has not gone into remission. Evers also revealed that the 47-year-old DJ has two heart conditions that are getting worse, and without surgery, he could die. Fighting for his life? Yes. It can be dangerous. We do not want to get a phone call to say because he was under 24-hour, because he was under this 24-hour or 23-hour lockdown and unable to breathe, that he succumbed to his illness. Cartel's attorney at law, Isaac Buchanan, warned during an interview with Evers on Tuesday. So I guess Isaac saying I botched up the whole reading of that, but he just basically saying that Cartel on lockdown for 23 out of the 24 hours. And they don't want to get a call saying he can't breathe and end up dying in jail, right? Buchanan said he had visited the reputed king of dancehall on Monday, 29th of May, and reported that he was not in great shape after being locked down for 23 hours a day over two alleged cell phone infractions within 3 days. Cell phone is what gave him trouble in the first place, but Cartel recording like hell inside him as he calling birds and things. Mr. Cartel's lawyer to file application to block alleged 23-hour lockdown after phone violation. Mr. Palmer's condition is life-threatening. His face is actually swollen. Now, the pictures that we see going around, if you didn't see them, it does not look good, right? That's the idea of his face looking so swollen, like his body looking real small, his face looking swollen. He ain't looking good at all. And I don't know, I mean, far from being a medical person, right? But that thing though, that situation don't look good at all. There was a point in time where when Cartel had gotten locked up, within the first 5-6 years, for a long time, he was hearing a lot of hits coming out from him and new songs that you know, it couldn't be old songs that they're repurposing and putting out there. The initial ones he was clearly hearing that is his voice notes, but then the quality started to get better. Like if they carried the Jackie or mic inside the film to record on them thing, and I mean the man was singing hits out of jail. But a partner of mine who may or may not have some experience with the penal system had told me back then, he said, boy, when you're in jail, you can't write them kind of gal tune on them lyrics. You know, he tell me two things. He said Cartel definitely getting woman and he weed and all different type of thing inside. He getting liquor, weed, woman, everything to inspire him to come up with them songs because he says I have no inspiration in there. You're not going to feel to do a whole lot and get the vibes to create, right? So to be your most creative self. He also told me back then that them hits go dry up eventually because at some point you will be out of touch with what going on in the streets and the clubs and everything and what a hit should sound like. So you might start to make music, but your music dated and it just remain in a vault there and it's not reaching very far. And I think we turned that corner already because now people give up on hearing hits from Vybz Kartel anymore. There was one point in time they were saying dancehall was in jail in Jamaica because a lot of the biggest hits was still Kartel, but not again. No, if you listen to this long enough, you know that I don't like jail. I'm not sure what's the solution, but I don't think people should be locked up like this. And I certainly don't think that locking up somebody 24 hours is a fair punishment for any crime, like locking you in a room, that solitary confinement thing. What was the documentary about the boy who Jay-Z helped to free in the States again, who was in Rikers and under lockdown, ended up dying in the end? Khalif, brother. Khalif. I'm terrible with names, you know. But I don't like systems like this. And to tell you the truth, right? I know I'm biased and I know this don't make 100% sense. But I'm more so biased when it comes to Cartel now. I find like Cartel, we must measure people's contribution to society. Now, I ain't saying, I don't want to make this light, right? Because I know it's somebody, family member, who they would be mourning for on these things. But Cartel, it's Cartel, you know what I mean? We could do something different than this. I ain't saying just free him. And I kind of saying free him. But I ain't saying just free him and absolve him of all his crimes and so on if he was involved in the crime and all that. But only let the man get a little surgery or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Whatever is the situation. Let the man do what he had to do to survive. Now, man, we're so sad to know that somebody at that height get locked down or dies while they're in lockdown. I mean, that's a sad reality. That carrying the vengeful nature that is jail and the whole idea of punishment and death sentence and thing is something that could never sit right with me, and particularly for Cartel. I just kind of find they should let Cartel go, or just give him the help that he needs so he could do fine, right? Shall I play a Cartel here? I wonder if the old ears here could stomach a Cartel. Take a little slice.
Hey, Addy, tell them the story. Marshall, Cartel, the girl there. From Trinidad, she from Lavante area. Say she know me a dancehall king, so she want teach me calypso. She done down pon the dresser, tell me fi apply the pressure. Me see the curtain a move now, I'm a there so the door a fi drop down. Took it, yes only took it. Boy, bubble, well Trini bubble, a trouble. I told her I want to catch a rise cause to take my breath. She said, baby, big mistake. You just come and me no start yet. All night, party. All night, party. All night, party. You're feeling party. Wine by somebody, body. Hey, yo, I met a girl from Jamaica. She said she come from Portmore. From she rise the soca king. She want show me dancehall bubbling. She put her foot on the speaker and tip and she touring. Yeah, then she whine and bend over. One time everything start juggling. Took it. bubble, bubble. She wine for the double, 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 double M. I tell she I am my expert when come to wine. She said, boy, don't play with me. You better come here ready to go. All night, all night. Party, party, party. All night, party, party, party. All night, party, party, party. You're feeling party, party, party. Wine for somebody, body, body. Oh, juke it. Yes, honey, juke it. Oh, bubble, bubble, bubble. Well, Trini, bubble, bubble, bubble. A trouble. Juke it. Yeah, juke it. Yes, daddy, bubble, bubble, bubble. She wine for the double, 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 double. All night. Party, party, party. All night, party, party, party. All night, party, party, party. You're feeling party, party, party. Wine for somebody, body, body, body. Party, party, party.
All night party, party, party. All night party, party, party. The Great Vibes Cartel. Now, I just wanted to appreciate how easy I was on your ears, right? I want everybody to say thank you for how easy I was on your ears just now, because that could have gone a whole different direction. You know, I had about 25 different cartel, and I say, you know what, let me ease people up. Let me play cartel with Marshall and let things start well, right? So that's why it is. I hope that at least he get the treatment that he need, and I mean, take him out of that 24-hour lockdown. So he done punished already for the crime that he commits. I mean, he go lock them kind of hits. So, and just saying, right? I wanted to check the year that song was recorded. For me, the name is Super Soca, right? Soca as an SOCA. Cartel and Marshall. Just tell me what year that song come out, and if Cartel was free, or if, you know what I mean, if he and Marshall was in the studio together. Tell me what is the situation with that song now, with two of them harmonizing on point. So tell me what it is went on now. Somebody can explain that to me. It could be I ain't the brightest man is having now. I want to take a few minutes to just run through some quick congratulations here, right? First, I want to say congratulations to Kendall K. Williams. I saw this article on When Steel Talks, from Pan on the Net, and they were saluting, they were highlighting Kendall K. Williams for receiving his PhD from Princeton University. So Princeton, as you would know, is an Ivy League school, right? You know, I mean, it's like mixing and that's one of the big boys. And reading from the article from When Steel Talks, it says, When Steel Talks extends congratulations to Kendall K. Williams on achieving his doctorate degree in music composition from Princeton University. We are immensely proud of you. Kendall was one of the graduates at the Princeton Graduate Hooding and Recognition Ceremony held on the institution's campus on May 29, 2023. So salute to that. I mean, that's something that we should also always celebrate. Well, you know how I feel about the doctor thing, right? I tell all about that already, right? And to do music composition at PhD level in a school like Princeton. As a matter of fact, you know, I don't know much about Princeton music program, but as an Ivy League school, it had to be great. It had to be one of the tops. I just wanted to take a minute to congratulate him. And also to just point out that a Trini actress was in Little Mermaid. No. Again, when I hear about Little Mermaid, what's come to mind first? Is it just me? But I see the school carrying my son to go and watch Little Mermaid today, you know what I mean? I guess there's a big thing for these children. The idea of blockbuster movies and cinema, I thought them days was done. But clearly not. This movie kicking up a whole thing. And you know, the people who were making this big fuss about remake something like the new Coming to America and thing, I'm not sure if all you realize, like, a lot of the shows we was watching was remakes. Like Django is one of my favorite movies. It's about 35 Django that come before that. A lot of the shows that we watch, Ocean's 11, them things remakes from older shows. We just had to enjoy what our generation had enjoy. And you must always remember that the first time you complain about a song being remade or a movie being remade, it simply means your time is done and you're old like the hills. You're old. Is old age causing that, you know what I mean? What you need to start to do is sap your knee. Put some clove and thing to soak, have a little brandy and thing, and start to sap your foot and sap your elbow. Pain is on the way. Anytime you complain about Coming to America 2 and complain about all these things, you're old. You know what I mean? Take care of yourself. Start to get your vitamin D and drink your collagen, whatever it is, because pain is on the way. So this is from Christy Ramnarine on CNC3. Dreams do come true. It definitely has for London-based St. Kitts born Trinidadian raised. Jesus Christ. This is a stretch. It was definitely, all right, we were with it. It's done here already, right? It definitely has been for London-based St. Kitts born Trinidad raised actress Martina Laird, who has joined the world of Little Mermaid. In 2023, live-action film swam into theaters on May 26, featuring Laird, who plays the castle's housekeeper, Lashana. I absolutely find this magical, full of imagination, fun, and dreams. Laird till Trinidad Guardian. I call this woman. This woman must be first time she hear about it. She said, "The Guardian? Is this a Guardian of the UK? London Guardian?" She must even have clues. All right. I don't even know how to describe the kind of job it is to do what I have been doing for so long, and to have the opportunity to bring your whole shape and self for something. I read that terribly. Congratulations to you, St. Kitts born, Trinidad raised, UK born, wherever you're from, and think you're a little Trinidadian, so Trinis go claim you, right? You're from here as of today, right? So big up to you, Little Mermaid. We have a Trini inside there. We didn't have a Trini, the Sebastian. Sebastian was a Trini or Jamaicans. We had some kind of Trini connection to the first show. I know. I know what my Trini connection to the first show when I watch it over and over. All you go tell me. I don't know. I don't want to be the only person who thinking like that, right? Also, salute to Keshawn Julian or Tobago Panis. So Tobago Panis, Keshawn Julian, 27, got a big, this from Dominica Lipasad, right? It was all over the internet, but you could trust Dominica Lipasad to document everything for you, so that by the time you reach Tuesday to talk, it's up there already. Haley Bailey. As she enjoys his steel pan cover of the film's theme song Under the Sea and compliments him. His cover version posted on TikTok was noticed by a production company which was compiling a YouTube series for Glamour magazine. Julian, 27, who holds a bachelor's degree in music arts, is featured in a reaction video that features Bailey watching the fan covers of a number of other musical artists. So Haley Bailey, apparently she's a big deal, right? She's a star Little Mermaid. I don't know these people. I sap in my foot too, right? So I know here about Haley Bailey. But I will say that Keshawn Julian was very excited and overwhelmed by this and happy to be featured and mentioned by her by name and everything, and she seemed to really be enjoying his cover of the Under the Sea. You know the song is good, right? I go play it through my terrible singing and humming and so on. But I just wanted to take some time to congratulate them on their accomplishments and their achievement. Keshawn feel good about it, so I feeling good about it too. You know what I mean? It's a big deal. And you know, in watching the man getting PhD from Princeton, man getting bachelors in music and thing. I think the next time I'll go back into studies, right? That all kind of thing I want to do, but the next time I go into studies, I feel like going into the arts in some way, form, or fashion. After a few weeks ago when I was telling that story about how I get into UE to do carnival arts, it made me realize, look what I end up doing. Look what I get chosen to do from UE. And look what I end up doing now and feeling the best. Out of all the things I look forward to this the most. And it's in the arts and it's in the carnival arts itself. So maybe it's something that not completely behind me. I don't want to say that it's something I might well go and revisit, right? Now, going further afield, as we get further and further away from home, because when we come back home, it's a kind of mayhem, right? Because I reading something here that I never thought I'd have to talk about nothing like this, but it's like they say a jaguar, they say a big cat loose in Palo Seco, you know what I mean? I understand, but you get to that, but I want to go as far as we could go now. I saw something last week, right? That was very worrying for me. In the midst of summer plans to see where we could fly to and how the cheap flights will go and which part we could head and all these different things. Only see this thing with this Asiana Airlines passenger arrested for opening the plane door during the South Korea flight. When the flight was on descent, looking to head to land, I'll tell you this, right? The person, I fast forward into the middle of the article where the man in his 30s said he was feeling suffocated and wanted to get off quick. He wanted to head out. Sometimes, I mean, was never on a plane when the pilots say, here we're going on, we're approaching Piaco International, and they say that about an hour and a half. They say again, you decent, pull back your seat where it's supposed to be stored, where a tray table, buckle your seat belt and thing, and it's an hour and a half either. Or sometimes when you're going on a flight, something happen and they can't land and they circle, an hour and a half. Sometimes you open the door and you jump out, so this man opened the door. They say a man has been arrested for opening a door of the flight while he was landed in South Korea. All 194 passengers survived the flight, thank God, which landed safely, but with its door still open at Daegu International Airport on Friday. Some passengers fainted. I'm not supposed to laugh at that, right? Let me be serious. Some passengers fainted while others had breathing problems and were taken to the hospital, local media reported. Police said the man claimed during questioning that he was stressed after losing his job. He's mentally struggling right now and losing his footing. We could not investigate him properly due to his state. A local police officer told reporters, adding that the man could not be asked any questions because he was not in a normal state. We check in for weapons. We check in for knife. You can't carry a nail clipper. If you have a bottle of water, you have to drink that before you pass checkpoint and buy the expensive water down in the holder. You can't carry no cream. None of them things. They throw away your good. You have your little ponds and your oil and oil. They throw away with that. You can't get away with that. You have your yardley. They throw away with that. They don't want no part of that on the plane, right? This had to be addressed. This is taking up space in my mind since this thing happened. I don't like to sit at the exit row, right? Well, let me change that. I like to sit at the exit row because you get a little free extra leg room, right? And the person in front of you, I like the second exit row because the person in front of you can rock back. I don't like when, you're in the cheap seats and people rock back on you. It's some flights where as soon as boom, a man is pushed back his seat all the way. And now I had to type my laptop close to my face. Now I don't like it. So I used to, when I'm traveling by myself, get to see if I could get a little emergency seat thing for a little free extra leg room and less issues, right? Less problems. I don't want to no table to bring down. The table used to come out of the arms. So it used to feel like it's not economy and it's not first class. Let me call it second class. The exit row used to be second class, right? But I'll be honest with you, right? Part of my problem with sitting down in that exit row is that I don't know what it is, but I just be watching that little, you had to slide your hand on that thing and pull the little red thing. I'll be honest with you, right? Me lost my work and me like this man, right? I don't have any of them kind of issues, but something be chucking me to pull that little red thing, something be chucking. I'll be watching that red thing. I say, boy, what happens if I pull that now? But I always assume that the plane will crash, right? If anybody pull that. So I'm just saying this, right? I's not the only man who was feeling that feeling. They have a real, I want you to look up something for me, right? They have a real feeling about people. I'm not talking about anybody who's no trigger warning and thing, nobody suicidal or anything like that. But they have a real thing that's happened to people when they go up on heights. When there's wonder, what go up if I jump? It's not like you want to get out of this life, but you just see like, if I die over here now, can I fly? It's a real psychological thing, right? So I know I's not the only person talking about pulling that red thing, right? I'm worried now that this incident publicized and people know the plane not going to crash, because what might be keeping people back from doing that is the fact that I want to live and I don't want to. But now in this TikTok and viral generation, let me abandon them exit row seat now. Let me abandon that now. We don't need no exit row. I can't deal with it. Let me abandon them exit row seat. Why the flight attendant on them can't make that them section? Why them don't sit down there? I better always sit down there, and play a security role and walk back and forth. You know what I mean? You could walk up for the push trolley thing and, all you just lock off first class. You could lock off that exit row thing while all you, put your Velcro and thing when nobody can pass through. Serve the drink, serve the thing, and then all you come back and sit down in the middle. Don't sell that to nobody, because when I go on a plane, I know nobody had no knife, nobody had no water, nobody had no kind of ponds and all, but I don't know if nobody now lost their work, or you and your woman gain problems, or you had a fly back Colorado and the man now take you at 12,000. I don't know the kind of problems people be having. I remember seeing a man and his wife fighting in Miami airport at time, and them want to come back. Two white people, vexed like hell, man, had to help them to square them. And so, no, fight here because you want to no fly list, man, trying to talk them down from fighting. And them board the flight with other people. Suppose now them in the exit room. And he decide if you ain't gonna live, me ain't gonna live. And them leg out that door. They just don't laughing matter about what. Just go and find the video. And watch how strong that breeze was. You know, that frightening. Thank God everybody live, right? Everybody live. Everybody good. But that was not a nice thing. That is not a good thing. So let me do either some kind of mental screening. You have to have one of them little tests going on before you go. A little mental screening before you go on a flight. Either that or let the flight attendant and them sit down there. And you know, they say they're half of them playing on autopilot right through anyway. So let the pilot come back now. Come back. All they want to stay up in front of you. Just man the area. Or at least in international flights or flights into the US, they have the air marshal there. I rather the air marshal sit down there with the missing Galil and just make sure that this don't become a trend. All you see the new trend now, people putting themselves in plastic bag and unwrap yourself from plastic. And I mean, I afraid these youths now. So don't put nobody under a certain age. Same thing I was saying last week about 21. Don't let big people be in the exit row too. Don't put nobody under a certain age. Just a few things to talk about before I get out of here. I just saw this saying, revenge porn victims powerless. I suppose this was coming out last week with what's my boy named Gabriel, aka Batman, who is more about these youths and this thing, these youths and these making a whole set of videos. He's a porn star. He's making a lot of videos with a lot of birds, a lot of young women, a lot of women in his videos. But the more I see from him now is that he's an attention seeker. He's an attention. I see this man bathe down himself in coconut water inside his car. It's like, listen, youth is wasted on the young. Yes, but the article says this is from the Express and it's from nobody apparently. It says hundreds of women across Trinidad and Tobago remain unprotected from the shame and torment of revenge pornography since existing laws fail to criminally penalize abusers who share intimate images of victims and continue to exploit them online. How would Express come up that is woman alone, so woman don't leak man video? Anyway, highly organized predator groups are daily proliferating non-consensual pornography, sharing by the thousands nude and explicit images, mostly of young women, which were stolen from them or posted without it. Okay, all right, I get you. Within groups, multiple victims say abusers plan the trade in images and the harassment of young women, both auctioning and hunting for the content. Auctioning? Who paying for that? Who have she? Let me say something about this, right? Let me say something about this. That who have she thing is a real thing in man group chats. Let me be real. Let me be honest. When it have, and I tell that I'm being real, whether it's adulting, childrenting, man thing, woman, it don't matter what the thing is. You always have somebody in the group chat who can say, who have the video? And you see, even in the group chats, right? Because the group chats, I'm talking about WhatsApp group chats now, that might be a little more controlled with who we in them chats with. But you see some of the Facebook groups is common for people. I'm talking about even where children concerned, because when it's children, that is clearly against the law. And if you share that, you could be in problems, right? If it's adults, I guess they say in the Express here that could be a little more murky. But I guarantee you, if you go on certain Facebook pages and you're in certain Facebook groups, they have people who come out and say, somebody send me the video, DM it to me. It's like people is be real interested in these things, especially when the girl have a face that is known. I don't want to call no names to put nobody about it, but when you're known, them things going to fly and go all over the place. What I was confused about when I read this is that I seem to remember a judgment going against Lendl Simmons back in the day for releasing pornography like revenge porn. So I was a little unsure as to why it was said in this article that the law is obscure and like you can't bring criminal charges against somebody. Is it that it could only be civil? Maybe that's what they're trying to say. They say shame and torment or revenge porn since existing laws fail to criminally penalize abusers. Maybe that's what they mean, because that settlement would be a civil case and not a criminal case. Because Lendl Simmons went on to have a good career and think people make mistakes, you pay a fine and you move on. But I guess maybe they're talking about the fact that you can't have any criminal penalty or go to jail. But I just want to highlight that it was a little odd because I know that settlement was made before. And I mean, you know, you my stance on this. Protect people, think that people send you nice little thing and think where you enjoy yourself, and protect people, think that let we be cool, let we be cool with one another. The same way we come into the thing and we was good, let we leave the thing and be good too. I don't like this idea where we leaving out the relationships and the hatred we have for each other, decide you go put somebody out there in the worst of ways, you know, the Keith Jackson thing. I don't like that, you know. I don't like that at all. And people should also remember that man, there's lost phone, people is carry phone by place to fix, all kind of different things happen. So you gotta be a little more mindful when we doing these things. You can't just have yourself exposed out in these streets, right? I mean, but who am I to talk about that? I think the age group that is listening to this probably understand that better than most, and the age group that is listening to this probably ain't want nothing on film. The way we something on them looking, you know, nothing on film again. But talking about thing on film, I just want to talk about it. Let me just take this from Newsday and let me talk about this situation in Palo Seco for a second.
Watch it, right? What do you feel everybody did?
About 4 days ago, the neighbor come telling us about the cat in the area and stuff, and they keep them throwing them inside. But
right.
It's a big one. And
big
about
cat.
2 days ago, the forest ranger them came back asking about it.
Right.
See, me I tell them I haven't seen it in my neighborhood time about it, that I attacked some dog or something. So, and then police come, and then before they came, and then they came now. But since I've been around, I've been looking, I haven't seen anything yet.
What part of here was it spotted?
The center of the location right up there.
And what did they say it was?
Oh, this was a big cat. So they didn't call one name. It's when the forest ranger came from it. Forest ranger, them say it was a jaguar or something. So.
Right.
So you've heard people around here describe it as a jaguar?
Yes, they say it was a jaguar.
But do you believe there's a jaguar around here?
I have to see to believe. And if I have a video circling around, so I haven't seen the video yet.
Right.
But I will just still be careful even though I ain't too sure.
Right.
Well, the video doesn't show an actual jaguar around here. But I mean, do you think it's possible that...
It's possible, yeah, because plenty of Venice just coming through, so it could be possible.
Why Venice had to take the blame for everything here? Now, first things first, Newsday, who are they sent to ask these questions? Are they just asking the woman the same thing? Where you get paid by the question? Or this man just asking the same thing over and over the woman answering here? But as they see cat exposes Venny, I don't like what they're training. I don't like what they're training. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like what they're insinuating. I don't like it. Why it has to be so? So we, man is smuggle animal here all the time. It reminds me, they say Medellin or somewhere in Colombia, they have a hippopotamus problem. You'll ever see that documentary? Because Pablo Escobar started his own zoo. They bring in hippos and thing. When he get jail or they kill him or whatsoever it was, they rounds up most of the animals for the zoo, but they couldn't get the hippos. You know, hippos get aggressive and thing, and them hippo went and breed and thing, and they have a hippopotamus problem in a country where I didn't even think hippopotamus indigenous to them. So we are jaguar here. I always remember that these stories from Guyana, when I used to go and lecture in Guyana, they used to talk about the fact that jaguars is coming around and they don't do you nothing. And I was like, not me. I don't even want to leave the hotel. I afraid animal, you know. Okay. So I remember leaving the hotel at night. I go and get something. I'm hungry. A lecture from must be 7:30 to 5:30. I'm hungry when I'm done. And I say, all right, I went back in the hotel. I take a 5 and I walk in out the road. There's a place named OMG. I think that's Sheriff Street. I walk in out there to go and buy some food and come back down the road. And a donkey walking coming down the road. I walking going up, donkey walking coming down. I cross the road, the donkey cross the road. I cross back the road, both of you walking towards one another a good distance. And when I cross back the road, the donkey crossed back the road. I turn around and I went back in my bed. I'm hungry. You know, I said drink water and go in your bed and wash it. I going to sleep. I am not passing by no donkey because me and the donkey just bite, kick, scratch, spit. I don't know what them animals do, but he ain't gonna do it to me. So, salute to all the people in Palo Seco. I don't know why all they just say Fanny coming in, so all of a sudden it's a jaguar and them kind of thing. But I hope all they stay safe down there. Cat biting all the dog, that nothing more that don't sound good at all. There's real problems. Now, last but not least, I just want to talk about that issue. I see that is a sad thing, right? Very, very sad. And I tend not to want to put sad news at the end of our podcast, right? I always want to leave on a good note. But I saw this story and it was so touching and so sad. I mean, I had to talk about it where DC Young Fly, who's a comedian that we you should know. I mean, a lot of us would follow him, right, and know about him. Imagine this man is a podcaster, comedian. He have a podcast or a show called the 85 South Show. These fellas very funny. He used to be on Wild and Out. These are several interviews on the Breakfast Club. A known black guy, I guess DC is where he from. And this man, wife, 31 years old, I want to say. 30 or 31 in the early 30s then. Went for plastic surgery, where you call a mummy makeover. And I believe it's in Miami. She went to do it. And died. It's somewhere 32 years old. This is a unimaginable kind of sadness when you think about a situation like this, where you doing well, he doing great, elevating in his life, you know what I mean, doing better and everything, and she has 3 children, I believe, and now make one recently, and went to do a mommy makeover, which apparently is a package that is sold for women who just made a child. Where you could snap back fast, right? They bring you back, you know what I mean? You pow and you pow and you know, everything intact, you know what I mean? And men like that, you know, men ain't gonna tell you thing fake and them kind of thing. But boy, when you see the thing, ones is flying, a lot of ones, you're gonna lose all your ones. 100, take back 80, throw the whole 80, and go back for the next 100, right? This is what man like. But it's such a sad story when you look at this situation with 3 young children all doing well and so on. So I'll read from E! News, right? DC Young Fly is sharing his first words since the passing of his partner Jackie O. The Wild Notes and his family said in a statement to People on the 2nd of June, we thank everybody for their well wishes and ask for privacy during this difficult time. DC Young Fly 31, she has 3 kids, Nova, Nala, and Prince Nehemiah. 10 months. Nova is 6, Nala is 2, Prince Nehemiah is 10 months. With Jackie O, whose death was confirmed by a BET Media Group's spokesperson on the 1st of June. She was 32. On 31st of May, Jackie was found unresponsive at the Homewood Suites by Miami, downtown Brickell, and transported to a hospital in Miami, Florida, where she died before midnight, according to Miami Police Department report obtained from the LA Times. So I mean, it's just a sad story, and it reminds me of, and condolences to DC Young Fly, their families, their fans and followers and so on, and I mean, your heart reaches out to young children like this who not going to know their mother. And I remember recently rumors like that going around about Spice, right? Jamaican dancehall star. She's the queen of dancehall now. She should be on top of the game in dancehall. Lady So used to be the queen of dancehall, but she's the queen of gospel now, so Spice had to be the queen. And Spice went to DR and did a procedure. And they said that initially the reports was about some kind of stroke or something like that. But then she eventually came out and said that it was a procedure that she did, a tuck or BBL or whatever them things called. And was in a coma for some days on touch and go, and you was hearing rumors that she died and she lived, but she good now, right? And you're seeing her. I saw something on Instagram the other day with Busta Rhymes. The way Busta Rhymes I go up and talk to her and thing, you could see, I assuming that, you know, he was like, girl, we glad you're still here. And my observation, right? I just talking about from just general Instagram boat ride watching people. My observation is that these procedures getting a little bit popular in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And throughout the Caribbean, certainly. Because even when I was in Jamaica back then, it was a boob job was a pretty common thing among certain circles in Jamaica, right? Which I appreciated. But these things make me wonder if it's worth it, right? I was so frightened going into the surgery last week. I was like, I'm getting the surgery up there. Things looking up. My foot, I still have a little stitches. I'm still dressing wound and thing, but I feel good enough. I feel I could go by surgery, take out these stitches, and start back to sweat immediately. Let me see how it go. But I feel Andy, this is a year and a month worth of foot issues. For a surgery that, to be honest with you, like I ruptured my Achilles, and that is something that the doctor tells you don't have to do surgery for. Is that what you call it, elective surgery? You could decide if you're doing surgery or not for it. He's just saying that your chances are much better for it to repair properly when you do surgery. He said if you don't do surgery, the recovery process is exactly the same. They put you in a walking boot, so when you have on a boot, your toes pointed downward. The boots have a set of wedges in it, so you point your foot downward. I suppose that means where your Achilles rupture, you point downward so that the two ruptured ends closer together and they will heal back, right? I mean, I'm learning that the human body is an amazing thing in this process. Some of this is baffling my mind that you could just grow back and seal back tendon and seal back bone. And I guess I never pay much attention to it before. But you don't have to do surgery. You could not reconnect it and the body will reconnect it itself. But they said that when you do the surgery, your chances of rupturing it again very, very low. Your chances of it healing properly and you being able to go back to full mobility and sport playing and your regular activity is good. Whereas according to how it healed, you might be able to tiptoe or run in the same way again. It might affect your gait when you're walking and those things. So I elected to do the surgery, and of course complications came with it, and a year later I'm still here trying to get out of this doctor office. But we looking like we're in the home stretch right now. And this whole procedure teaching me a story, or has taught me a story about what is really health. You know what I mean? What is your health and wellness when people talk about that? Because the downtime associated with that first injury, the limited things I could do, like, for instance, Mighty Krong coming Wednesday night. Scotch bringing Mighty Krong, there's Mighty Krong last performance as Mighty Krong in Trinidad. And Hoppy coming out, Hoppy going to play Radioactive, Umba will play Matsi Miller, Bobby and them going to play Taurus Movement. So it's all is the thing I like, right? But my problem now is I have stitches in my foot. I can't go and stand up there for 3-4 hours. I mean, I would love for them to start at 5 p.m. and finish by 9, but apparently the end time is still 3 in the morning. But I know how much I could make. Wearing certain shoes is a problem. Almost every one of these shoes I have a little blood spot on the back of them or some kind of thing. It's something else, dealing with this for a year and something. So, I mean, I'm glad to do this surgery because even in between, I could play football, and I'm pretty sure that once I get these stitches out, I could play football and play sports in general. I play tennis, and I kind of like sports a lot. You know what I mean? Too much to just take the chance to let it heal on its own. And I mean, when we did the surgery, we realized that the tendon was in such poor shape that it probably was not going to... I was probably not going to return the sports if I had taken the option to not do surgery. But saying all that to say that for a major injury like that, the biggest tendon in your body rupturing and doing surgery and having to deal with that for a year, it makes me wonder if I would put myself through a procedure that I don't need to put myself through just so I could look better. It's a tricky thing, you know, because the man BBL selling, you know. People say Gucci Mane take the man BBL, you know. You see how Gucci Mane come out of jail, he exercise a day, but he looking good. I taking that body, well, that ain't sound good. I would take that body anytime I get it, you know what I mean? It's hard to work out and train and eat right and lose weight. That tough. So if it's that man BBL and I could afford that, maybe, and I see the way my eyesight set up, I could take a LASIK, you know, see if I could see something again. I got to drive in the night when the light shining and rain falling. It's all hell break loose when I driving. But this procedure here and these complications associated with it, making me wonder, like, should I interfere with my eyes, boy? Is that worth it? Or I should just leave in the contacts right through or get glasses or whatsoever it is. I don't know. But certainly when it comes, so abs out, if I could abs out and get some calves and my chest pump up and them kind of thing. I don't know how I would be able to live with myself after. If I have a year worth of complications because I wanted to get a little, let me say, you know, even the selling thing for man now too, you know, because if you're running wild and you bounce up a Jaguar, you could get a little extension for yourself, you know what I mean? A little length and girth in case you bounce up a Jaguar. Suppose I go for a length and girth surgery, right? And then there's a year worth of complication. I have to go by the doctor every 2 days. And I don't know. I will be kicking myself, literally and figuratively, for putting myself through that elective procedure, inclusive of all the downtime, the recovery time, and all these things. That would be tough for me to swallow. And I can't imagine what would happen if you go to a procedure like that and, boy, God forbid, you're gone. You just left your family and things to be looking better. So my heart reached out to those folks, and I know it's becoming a more popular trip here to Venezuela, to Dominican Republic, to Dr. Miami. They have a man down here by the name of Elias Alberto Barrios Abendano that people run into in Diego Martin to get a little, you know what I mean, to get a little touch up and a little fix up, and it called for a certain amount of time in wellness center to get yourself back ready, and you have to do a certain amount of massages and all these different things. It is as with any other surgical procedure, I assume is pretty risky. And my procedure has 99% success rate. There's only a 1% of people who end up with complications, and I end up in the 1%. So I mean, I don't want to talk anybody out of it because we like the results. We like the results a lot. But remember them 1%, boy, and remember that there are people here living for them kind of thing, and just observe and do your research to make sure you have any complications they might have that might make you not a good candidate for this, because a doctor, them men is surgeons, but them looking for the dollar too, you know. So if they can put you on the surgery table and fill them quota for the month, them good. I'm sure that this man, whoever did this procedure in Miami, the lawsuits and them kind of thing coming, because it is the US and that's the way it goes. But my prayers reach out to him and his family, and I just praying for everybody who gonna do these things, because we like the boat ride after effects, but we want you to come back. We're going to come back. Don't go and get into these things and make no pretty corpse, right? Yeah, what we done there. We done. I'm gonna leave all here with one more song, and we'll wrap up this little short week. And I'll see you all next week Tuesday again. That could work. I want to play one of Vybz Kartel's first soca songs. If all I could remember back in the day, since we done such a little one Vybz Kartel of Marshall already, right? See how good your memory is and see how far you could go back. I will tell all next week if I end up in the Mighty Crown and them thing and give a little review. But chances are I might be missing that. And maybe I don't mind missing it, because you see the stand-up, I really would like to hear Umba and them play, but not sure. I'm not sure. So hold this one. This one is Vybz Kartel with Bungee Garland.
Viking Zilla.
Space you up to the time.
Vybz Kartel. Ladies. Static.
Hey girl, bend your back. Bubble panda. Kick, bend your tack. Everything shot. Hey girl, bend your back. Bubble panda. Kick, bend your tack. Everything shot.
Hey girl, just whine and bend over. Giving to the beat of the soca. Do it all on tabletop on the sofa. Girls from Trinidad, girl from Europa. Girl from Jamaica, girl from Toga. Bend so low so me can see your shoulder. Bumper spin like the wheel of a roller. Come your beauty, I'm the beholder. Love when you bend and you whine and watch over. Rough ride.
Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke.
Hey girl, bend your back. Bubble panda. Kick, bend your tack. Everything shot. Hey girl, bend your back. Bubble panda. Kick, bend your tack. Everything shot.
She said she feel hurt.
Baby girl, just long out your tongue and wine for the biddy man, cock up your bumper. Girl can't still man the next. Tell say sex and no girl can test. Wine in the sun, wine up on the rain. Tobago nice and Trinidad nice. Girl from South and from Port of Spain.
Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke.
Hey girl, bend your back. Bubble panda. Kick, bend your tack. Everything shot. Hey girl, bend your back. Bubble panda. Kick, bend your tack. Everything shot.
You want the sun, gal? Feel on zoot. Where she can go with her thinking foot. I want that a rat bat. She said thanks, me say welcome at a shooting range. So you think shot. Man to woman wind up like a gnat. Chew me a dart and no joke, no laugh. Girl laugh it up when the missile go off.
Rough ride.
Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke off. Right till the bicycle broke.
Rough ride. Right till the bicycle rock off. 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 Right till the bicycle rock off.
When you're singing tune like that, right? Used not to be locked up, used to be, you know, used to be free. And I want to layer this one. Let me see how good your memory really is. This was Kartel's first entry into the soca world. Listen to the difference in the vocals with the Bungie and Cartel and the first Marshall and Cartel. Right? Listen to the difference in the vocal, because if I'm not mistaken, in these times, he would have been free.
Baby, know your man is here. Marshall. Oh, I'm Cartel. The ladies. Jamaica. Trinidad. Hey, worldwide. Global. You see that girl there? Baby, if I want you tonight, you're gonna get the wickedest right. So wine for me, girl, skin to skin color. Quick question, could you be my bride? What you want, cash? I got a lot to divide. Would you want drive the Benz, the 6 or the 5? For shopping for the fats first and alligator highs. Baby, me no device like all the other guys. I the size for rice, girl. If I hold you tonight, girl, all I wanna do is treat your body right. Girl, I'll do anything for you in the middle of the night. Girl, anything you want me to, I'ma give it to you. I'ma give it to you. Yo, let me give you enough love, enough satisfaction. Every single night I say you're on my program.
Yes.
Let's settle down and all our meditation. From the time you get this sensation, girl, how you take, how you wait so long? How was the rest of my life been so wrong? Girl, say are you from the foundation? When me want, when me need, in me plan. If me want you tonight, girl, all I wanna do is treat your body right. Girl,
I'll do
anything for you in the middle of the night. Girl, anything you want me to,
I'ma give it to you.
yeah, give it, girl.
I'ma give it to you.
Yo, settle down and say take your time.
Yes.
Every day I say you're deep on my mind. You invading the space, say you're crossing the line. Taking my heart is a crime. Yo, in the middle of the night, say I don't feel your pain. Little girl, I hearing you calling my name. All the earth, girl, I know what you're saying. Right by your side, listening. If I hold you tonight, you rock so, you move so, you dip so.
Dance
Bedroom
on calypso.
Move up your hips so. Me like the sexy thing you do with your lips so. Can I get your number?
Give me a kiss, so.
Sexy body, got spend time designing. You whine it, me like it, you whine it, you whine it. Spend the night, no darling, and let's have breakfast the next morning. If I hold you tonight.
Hey, enjoy the weekend. I will talk to all in next week, Tuesday. For all who are short week, enjoy the Corpus Christi. If you're so inclined, plant something. They say Corpus Christi, body of Christ, right? So if you're so inclined, go and do the body of Christ. My father told me I had to go to the church twice on Corpus Christi. Go and plant you whatever you're planting. And ganja plants, you could plant ganja for the Catholic Church accept these things. I don't know. But enjoy a short week and enjoy a long weekend. And for all of you who in foreign who are no short week or long weekend, only remember why Trinidad is the nicest place in the world.
Life on the stage show. We got them jumping and screaming galore. I hold you tonight. Yo, yo. Tonight. Yo, yo. Tonight. Yo, yo. What you tell us, say? Tonight.
Oh, hey, hey.